hot single moms in your area, a generous Jew, Australian people, all things that aren't real. But you know what is real? Soul Eater. If I had to pick between Soul Eater and my best friend, just hand me the shotgun gun and call me Lil Uzi, cause all my friends is dead. If you haven't seen Soul Eater, you're retarded. This is one of my first animes, and after I seen a naked cat bit, Soul's amazing design, which I ain't gonna lie, he got that shit on, bro. You can't even lie, bro.
Looked at my wrist, I got time today. Fuck it, I'm crossing the line today.
And Maka too. I mean, look at the whole cast. They didn't miss on one single character. Anyways, my name is Eustace. I'm a Haitian dude from Stingleberry, Oregon, and let me cover Soul Eater in case you haven't seen it. A sound soul dwells within a sound mind. In a sound body. No one cares about this shit, bro. Let me get to the point, bro. Welcome to Deathmeister Academy. Hey, we got like niggas with like scythes. We got niggas with like ninja stuff. We got niggas with skateboards. Yo, we got everything here, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. The DWMA is a school that trains students to hunt down Kishin. Basically crackheads, but instead of begging for $1, they eat people's souls. The students of this school, though, nah, they moving different.
You disrespect my hood by telling me take off my flag, asking how gangster I was, nigga. You lucky on that day I was acting cool, cuz.
Either they wield weapons or can transform into weapons. These are some of the main characters, Maka the Meister and Soul the Death Side. They started getting into this fade with this dude hitting all type of moves, jumping off the building too, just to get uppercut with a sight. They was really in the middle of the street throwing down. Like, are we out here in Gotham? What's happening? Maka is 13 years old here, by the way, jumping off this nigga's head. We gotta get an instant replay. She had her big ass boots, ghetto ass stilettos on top of his head, bruh. He thought I was gonna let his build slide too? Well, I'm not, buddy. You're built like a pile of shit. I don't know what type of failed abortion you need to go through to look like this, bruh, but I'm sorry. There's no way you don't look in the mirror and get disappointed every time. And she got this man stun locked in the animation. Just for her to spin back and put this man in a montage. Like, you can't even lie, this going in her highlight reel.
Pooh Shicey, that's my dog, but Pooh, you know I'm really shicey.
This right here is their 99th Kishin soul. Now all they need is a witch soul, and basically Soul Eater will evolve. They went back to report to their boss at 4242564 to knock on Death's door. This is Death. Now, bro, goofy for real, but around here, he is running things. I've collected another op soul, sir. Well done. Yo, I can't. Well done, Master Maka. You're almost as great as your mother. Yo, Soul Eater, bro. If you touch my daughter's soul, I'm finna have to eat your soul. Nigga, pause. And nobody wants your daughter. She chopped. Tell me why this man was bending the glass. Bro was so mad he defied physics, risking his whole manhood here, booty out in the open. Alright then, Maka, I'll see you. I love you. I will never call you my dad. Get a job, nigga. Anyways, Death explains, challenging a witch is risky because they're extremely powerful, and if they mess up, all the souls collected will be revoked. So they went to go see this witch named Blair, and I can't even show what she was doing, bruh, but she is so bad, bruh. I had a crush on her for like 10 years now, bro. I can't even lie to you, bruh. They decided to bust into her crib, and what this man saw made him fold under zero pressure. Them knockers had a knock. But Maka tried to lock in and defeat her. Unfortunately though, she upped that Slug Terror blaster. They tried to spin back and catch her lacking, but she caught them easily and then used her strongest technique. The next day they came back, she was waiting for them this time and pulled out a bomb. She was out here fighting like the Vietnamese, bro. Why you got a bomb in a bush? But next time, they had home court advantage, fighting out in the city, and they was treating like the Avengers, bro, destroying everything. But Blair was like, hey Soul, why don't you come stay with me?
I'm Soul's partner, not you, okay? Our conversations don't concern you.
You talking about this girl right here? My wife? You talking about my wife?
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. First of all, Maka, watch your fucking mouth, nigga. Anyways, I just gotta say though, bro, like me personally, hey, I would have folded, bro. I would have folded. I would have been over there kissing her feet, kneeling down, bro, and barking too. Mine as well. Hey, nah, you can't even lie, bro. Everyone watching this video, I mean, all of us, like we are bending down and kissing Blair's feet. Like, you can't even lie, bro. But the fade continues, and she sends her sleeves out flying, while Maka turns into prime LeBron James, trying to dunk on Blair, but her card got declined. Blair came back with a massive pumpkin. Then her hat turned into a hand and threw Maka all over, landing on this building. Maka was asking Soul, what should they do? And my boy switched up. He dropped her off into the trash can, then hit this pose. Ain't no way, what type of aura farm is this? What, you thought I wasn't gonna switch up when she got all them gigawatts on her chest? You supposed to slime your day one homies and unfollow all them. Cardi did it, then I gotta do it too. Ain't no way that he just hit her with the, my main goal is to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody. Maka got into a flashback that her dad left, and she's so... No mouth, nigga. Anyways, listen, my girlfriend told me she had a dream I cheated, and as her boyfriend, it's my job to make sure all her dreams come true at all times, so I always make sure to stay cheating. But anyways, Soul was acting the whole time, and Maka pulled up 200 pumping Blair, claiming her soul to eat. And Soul was like, oh, I can feel the power. I can feel so much power. Oh, shit, never mind. Because that wasn't a witch. Blair is literally a cat with a crazy amount of motion for no reason. Wait. So I covered this all for no reason? Bro. Oh, my. But wait, actually, I need you to keep watching. Not just because I need money, but because my GOAT is here. Blackstar, the ninja, had caught all the ops lacking. There was 100 souls in total. So he pulled up directly on them and had to announce that he is him with his partner Tsubaki, and they just up pose on him, started blasting. So much for him being a ninja. Luckily his weapon has multiple forms, so he pulled out a smoke bomb and got up out of there. But either way, who made these guys gangsters? They look like Discord mods. How did he find 10 different dudes with the same pedophile haircut? Bro hired the Dream SMP to be his gangsters, yo, like what ethnicity are these individuals? Like, I'm interested in calling them a slur, but I'm not sure which one. Anyways, what's goated about Blackstar is he hasn't collected a single soul, but him and Soul Eater are still locked in. The school's principal called him up and he said, damn, y'all trash, not a single soul. And bro said you don't worry, twin, I got an autograph for you right here. I know you want that. Death had to put this man to bed for that blasphemy, I ain't gonna lie. But the man they didn't kill yesterday is now on his way to a witch so he can become a Kishin. And I'm telling you, that boy Blackstar was running off to slide. And there was really 100 goofballs waiting. But not just that, there was Mifune. Now y'all about to see, this man is really him. Throughout the whole show, he was standing on business.
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
But it got even crazier. When Blackstar arrived, everyone was already dead. And here comes Mifune trying to smoke this man. Yo, why is you in my section? Because I'm Blackstar, I don't check in nowhere. Tsubaki decided to transform, and he said, compared to a man as big as me, you see how small you are. I understand, I get scared looking in the mirror. This man has no business talking like that, like his writing low-key fire. But Mifune threw up 100 swords and even some caution tape. Now he knows wherever he fights, it's a caution zone. Nah, he's him. Anyways, Blackstar threw a scythe, snatching Mifune's sword out his hands. But bro already had another one, and he's coming down on Blackstar. Then grabbed another one, and Blackstar had to dip up out of there, just to get a free Mifune haircut. But he said he's finna turn Mifune into me and Fune. This man threw a big ass ninja star, trying to cut bro right in half. But Mifune jumped up and sat on top of it. Tsubaki had to turn into a smoke bomb for Blackstar to come in with that down slam, and apparently Mifune was trained by Tom Brady. Bro threw his sword like the Super Bowl was on the line. He low-key slumped up Blackstar too, and ain't gonna lie to you. But then he got back up and told Tsubaki go into sword mode. They was having a little walk around, and I was waiting for the big moment, like, yo, like what's finna happen here? Like, can we get it started? And then he disappeared. They used the Genjutsu, oh my lord. Pulled up from behind, giving Mifune some back shots and said, I am the star, you lose. Nah, you're him, big bro. Had this man on the floor like a bum. He was about to finish bro until the witch pulled up, and it turns out she's just a kid. Once Blackstar found out she's a kid, he decided they ain't even worth his time and went home. Mind you, this guy's one of the final villains, and Blackstar just spared his life in his introduction episode. Some people don't like these introduction episodes, but if you ask me, Soul Eater went 2 out of 2 on 10 out of 10 episodes, bro. He's just fire. We have one more introduction episode before things really get started. We've seen a bank in Death City getting robbed by Super Nigga, and my first question was,
hey, what you doing out here with all this ass? Double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon.
He's running with his cheeks out while getting blasted by twin Glocks being held upside down while this man standing like Itachi in a suit too. Oh my lord. This man was cornered watching 2 Glocks turn into 2 baddies. They said to unite the people in our nation to protect the world from devastation or whatever they say, something like that, okay? This right here is Lord Death's son, Kid, and he's obsessed with symmetry. That's why he's got 2 guns and 2 thoughts. If you're not convinced he's him, did I mention he's a flying skateboard? Yeah, he's doing skate 2 glitches in real life. He's him. He had a pull to some Egyptian temple, and he was walking inside and seen everything was symmetrical until they ran into some freaky mummies, and the girls decided it's time to catch that fade. And when they turned around to fight, Death the Kid was nowhere to be seen, but there was a letter. I'm going back home to check on my painting in the living room. I have a feeling that it's slightly leaning to the left. Good luck in there, Liz and Patty. Bro left his team behind for a painting. I don't even understand art, man. They be paying $300K for something like this. I could piss on a canvas and they call it deep and emotional art. I don't know. But luckily, Kid's weapons can handle themselves. They switched these boys down. She even turned to a gun, then switched back into a human and swapped places. Meanwhile, down the hall, there's a witch summoning an ancient pharaoh. Oh, pharaoh, serve me now. Oh shit, ah! The pharaoh was out here moving like Toji when that grandma revived him. He really dropped her off, the same way Liz dropped me and left me behind. I miss everything we had, like a snowflake to a flame. Every time I melt to her touch. Bro, what am I talking about, bro? But Kid finally came back and he used his skateboard to block the pharaoh's moves. Then did a kickflip to free Liz and Patty. Wait, Liz? No. Let's just call me once, bro. Anyways, they turned back into guns, but Kid froze up. It got punched. Hit that boy with the punch of punishment. Bro said he refuses to fight this pharaoh because it's perfectly symmetrical in every way. He was really willing to die over this too. The pharaoh pulled out a comically large hammer and started beating him with it repeatedly until he opened up his face and climbed out. Kid awakened like his mom just came home and he forgot to take the meat out the freezer. He realized the pharaoh's true form wasn't symmetrical and up both of these guns on him, started blasting this man while talking some shit. He was moving like Roy Mustang fighting that one dude. Alright, I ain't gonna lie, bro. He was blasting. He took this personally. I have never seen body shaming quite like this. Now that you've seen our main characters, Maka and Soul Eater, the Ninja Black Star, and Lord Death's Son's Kid, we can finally start the story. Man, I'm like 10 minutes in, bro. How am I gonna do this? In the next episode, Maka and Soul were called by Lord Death, and on their way there, they made the foolish mistake of showing their back to Black Star. He was about to annihilate them, but uh-oh, he was caught in the act, never mind. Lord Death says their teacher died and was turned into a zombie, so they have to slide on their old teacher and put him back into the grave. And if they fail, they're expelled. So they head out, and they're on this Dead by Daylight map. And this man's soul was tweaking. Bro was on smoke the whole time.
Stop playing with me. I'm trying to catch him. I'm trying to catch him. I want to catch him.
Hey, Soul, why don't we go piss on Sid's grave? What do you think about that?
Yeah, and while we're at it, why don't we take a dump on it too?
Sid heard they were gonna take a shit on his grave and went from Sid to Slid. Maka got lucky that Soul came to stop this. This man was out here fighting with his own grave and giving lessons about matching soul wavelengths. Bro pulled up and slam dunked Black Star. It looked atomic. But that's when he got back up, throwing both his scythes around Sid and pulling up, kicking him in the rib. He tried the combo extender, throwing his ninja star, but Sid just hopped on it and did a backflip. Bro is literally a zombie and is out here ore farming in the afterlife. But this time, Black Star was ready, catching Sid in his chains and Maka too. I don't know if that was intentional or not. But the final mission was finding the person who turned Sid into a zombie. Turns out, the person that turned Sid was the strongest Meister in all of the DWMA, Dr. Frankenstein. So they pulled up to this man's front door and he popped out on a rolling chair and just fell over. Who made this goofball the best Meister? He even went back inside to try all over and fell again. Not everyone built for this ore farming, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. They were having a normal conversation until Black Star said, I'm not trying to hear no conversation unless it's about me. How did Bro spawn on this building though? He pulled up on Stein to get blocked in the chair. Then he rolled up on Bro and dropped him. There's no way. Then he rolled up on Maka, and this man doesn't even need a weapon. He is the weapon. He grabbed Maka by the hair and started being creepy once again, so Black Star had to pull up and use his ult. But that boy Stein got really high defense. He ate that whole attack and just stood there because his soul is stronger. He then pulled up on Black Star and fried his brains like the iPads be doing to y'all. So Maka and Soul Eater had to use Soul Resonance locking in, pulling out a move called Witch Hunter, and I'm like, let's go Maka. Oh shit, Stein broke it with his bare hands. Okay. But with this, they get a passing grade. Yes, this was all just a test. In episode 6, Stein is now their new teacher, and Kid is now going to the DWMA. So Black Star and Soul Eater wait outside for him, deciding to jump him on his first day of school. I don't know why they did this, I have no idea. Either way, Kid sauced both of them up in the reverse jumping. They decided to use a Dragon Ball fusion so they could finally put an end to Kid, but Black Star ended up almost killing himself. But they still decided to say Kid's a bum and he's sorry. Unfortunately, they weren't aware his guns turned into goobas, and this wasn't a fade, this was an act of terrorism. In the next episode, we get to see our first villain, Medusa. And her femboy, she's been training to be a Kishin. While in the act of eating human souls, Soul and Maka catch her slipping. You see, this person is Demon Sword Crona, and her weapon is literally inside her blood. Maka pulls up on Crona, doing a backflip, turning into a double knee to the face. I ain't gonna lie, run that back one time, that was clean. But it turns out, when you cut Crona, she gets even stronger. She can control her blood, and it's as hard as steel. Plus, her weapon can disrupt souls. And she literally pulled out her own Getsuke Tensho, which Soul had to block using his own real body. You cannot tell me he ain't real for that. It was looking like they were cooked though, until Stein pulled up, kicking down the door with Maka's dad as his weapon. Stein then beat the brakes off Crona.
Nice throw.
But it was a struggle because the more you beat her, the more blood you have to worry about. She was still getting cooked though, so Medusa had to pull up and save her daughter. Soul was taken to the hospital while Maka cries. Pulling on this man's eyes. What is wrong with bro? But then the doctor pulled up. Dr. Medusa. She didn't even change her name. Who fell for this, bruh? All she did was turn her braid the other way. Who is out here checking IDs at the DWMA? We need better security, bro. Who is this? Turns out, Soul is now infected with the black blood, causing him to have terrible nightmares. While that was happening, Blackstar and Kid went to get the legendary sword, Excalibur. And if you're wondering why the strongest weapon in history was still up for grabs, look at him. It's because this nigga is so annoying and gay. Nobody wants to kick it with bro. He keeps yapping and yapping and yapping. He asks stupid questions like, what's your favorite number between 1 and 12? And then says, who are you to pick the best number? He's so annoying, they left him there behind and ended the episode. In episode 10, Tsubaki and Blackstar get sent to her old village to find an enchanted sword. And why nobody tell me Tsubaki really from the trenches though? When Blackstar arrived, he's stoned by the people for being Star Clan. So they had to run about the city while getting hit with stones. And it's like, why you hitting Tsubaki, bro? What'd she do? This is when we find out the Star Clan was moving like 2013 King Von. So they had to get smoked by Lord Death, everyone besides Blackstar. But at the same time, the enchanted sword is out here possessing people. Luckily, Blackstar pulled up and made bro kiss his shoe. They were out here scrapping when we seen the enchanted sword has mad hacks. Bro summoned a shadow, but Blackstar outspeeds him. He was out here leaving after images. Didn't matter though because he slipped in the mud and then cracked his balls on a pipe. But he did get back up using soul resonance, making a star as his weapon. Then catching this man in the animation while Tsubaki hopped inside the enchanted sword's soul because they're actually siblings. And apparently her brother hates her for being the chosen special weapon. While Tsubaki was fighting with him in the soul world, Blackstar was protecting her real body while the village was beating him for being Star Clan. They had one of the best fights with crazy animation, and this came out in 2008. Tsubaki got stuck inside the enchanted sword though, and we got one of my favorite scenes. Blackstar begged Tsubaki to come out on stage. Encore Tsubaki, encore Tsubaki, give us an encore. Turns out, she actually defeated her brother and conquered the demon sword. This was a peak arc and you should go watch this. In episode 12, we see Medusa at the witches meeting and hey, Mifune is here. But still, Medusa was getting impressed by these other witches until she put her hands in their mouth and infected them with snakes. She then goes to check on Soul, and for the first time, we get to see the black blood world, and it's this little ugly demon that dances. This right here did unreversible damage to me as a kid, alright? This was my PFP for like 10 years, I'm not even joking. At this point, Medusa forces the frog to free the man with the magic eye. And she managed to do that extremely easily, to be honest, because they got the same guards in Roblox jailbreak, like it was too free. He's like some immortal werewolf guy that's famous for robbing the Grand Witch, so yeah, he got motion. The next episode is filler, but it was so funny when I was a kid, bruh. Their whole class has a super important test. So to get the answers, Blackstar breaks into Stein's house just to get caught lacking in bro's crib. Next morning, he was found hanging. This is something the cartel would do. They made an example out of bro. The test starts, and I think only Maka studied for this, because Soul wrote all the test answers inside his clothes. His whole fit was a cheat sheet. There is no way he fails. There's no way he even gets caught. Oh my god, he got caught and stripped in class. No way. How did bro go out sad like this? Meanwhile, Kid spent the whole test trying to write his name symmetrically. And Liz and Patty, yeah, they're both brain dead, I'm not gonna lie. Soul thought about it and realized Blackstar already seen the test's answers. He was gonna write the answers on the board as his dying wish for Soul. And Soul was ready for this. He was oh my gosh, he just wrote his autograph. Not too much in this episode, but I thought it was so funny as a kid and I enjoyed watching it now. In episode 18, they're celebrating the creation of the DWMA. In here, we got one of the worst depictions of a black person. Who is this guy? We do not look like this. Oh damn, maybe we do. Just some of us though. Stein asked Medusa to dance, and at first I thought, wait, he has game, like he got Riz? Then he dropped a bombshell saying, I know you're a witch. And we learn there's a fully grown Kishin sleeping below the DWMA. At this time, Medusa escapes, and the werewolf man drops a barrier on the DWMA. But luckily, the main cast escapes in time. So the main characters in Stein are now trying to stop Medusa from reviving the Kishin. Apparently, Lord Death ripped his skin off and then locked him inside of it. So I don't think he's gonna be very happy when he wakes up. Him just being alive makes people go insane. Stein catches up with Medusa and runs the fade with her, while Maka wants a rematch with Crona. And she decided, instead of cutting her, she's just gonna beat the dog shit out of her, while holding her in place with her scythe. She literally used a double kick to her face. So this man Crona had to completely lock in. This was way too disrespectful. We seen Crona's backstory, and it's kinda sad. She stays getting disrespected, and Medusa is low-key just an L mom. But Soul Eater wasn't trying to hear none of that sad backstory. He linked up with the devil, which made him take over Maka's body, and she went insane. At this time, Maka was not herself, eating all these sword attacks just to smack Crona up, grabbing her by the head and smacking her face into a pillar. This low-key nightmare fuel, I ain't gonna lie, bro. As a kid, this had me a little shook, but Maka and Crona's souls fused during this fight, and this is when she decided she wanted to help Crona after seeing her true self. Meanwhile, Kid was fighting with the werewolf man and put max passion into trying to blast bro away. But come on now, he's literally immortal. Also, that was just his shadow clone too. His real body was trying to free the Kishin, but just being near bro made them tweak out and geek. Like, what do these villains be expecting, bro? You heard this man's the most evil creature in the world, and you want to bring him back for what purpose? He's gonna kill you too. But they still brought him back, and I'm telling you, bro, when he came back, the good to evil ratio in the world had changed. Just him being alive turned the sky red. He whooped Blackstar without even touching him, then flicked Kid in his incomplete form and almost popped bro's head, and then turned his own skin into a new outfit. He then pulled up on Lord Death himself and revealed he regrew his dreads. They was going ore for ore right here, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. But Death wasn't playing. He put out the volleyball spike on my boy Ashura, but after he fell down, he just laughed it all off, trying to use his scarves to grab Death, but that boy got the final flash coming right at Ashura. So he started doing Haitian magic, and I'm actually very familiar with this technique and the counter technique that Death used, trying to hold Ashura in place. Mind you, Death was doing all this without a weapon, which is even crazier because Ashura and his weapon are fused. That's the only reason Ashura was able to escape Death City. So for the DWMA in the whole world, it is not looking good. Ashura is not supposed to be free. In episode 25, we see that Crona has been captured by the DWMA, and Death calls all the Death Sides to the building. And here, we see my boy Justin. He got them Death AirPods in, didn't hear a single thing his boss said. I think he said he was bumping that little Uzi, but I do not have confirmation on that. In episode 28, Stein starts tweaking from the snake Medusa put inside of him. Them snakes got perk 30s inside, I don't know. Meanwhile, Death Weapon Marie and Maka try to show Crona a much better life. They was just being real homies for real. But Kishin Ashura's madness has also waken up Lady Arachne and their whole gang of villains. They're out here collecting legendary items, and while doing so, Blackstar was out there and caught Mifune working for them. He decided on sight they need to run this fade for the second time. Mifune pulls up getting blocked, then uses his foot grabbing a sword, trying to hit this man Blackstar, but he immediately counters. Mifune then runs on his swords, trying to catch Blackstar with the last one. You see, their first fight was in the finals. Just right here, this one's serious. Blackstar then pulls out his enchanted sword mode, but Mifune blocks all the shadows. He has some hacks or something. Then pulls up and combos Blackstar with about 12 swords. This man thinks he's Killer B. What is happening here? But in episode 34, when everyone's recovered, Lord Death explains Lady Arachne will be going after a magic tool called Brew. This is so important, he sends off the whole DWMA to slide. There's also some magnetic field that prevented from going inside. Sid caught Mifune lacking, trying to snipe that bro, but he used his future sight and blocked it. He then made a stairs of swords running up on Sid. They had to play this little game of hide and seek while they were fighting in the snow. It was fire. Meanwhile, the academy students were out here fighting some rookies. Nobody here you need to worry about, I'm not gonna lie. They're all trash. Besides my black brother Ogun. Wait. That ain't even Ogun, this is Gohan. Who is this guy? But Maka, Kid, and Blackstar decide to go into the static zone. Once they're inside, they run into Lord Death before he made it out the hood. They find out what they're seeing is the past, and this right here is a witch's meeting. Arachne is there too, and she has the Book of Abon. Abon is the master builder and inventor of the tool Brew. Meanwhile, while they're trying to explore, they run into this little dude carrying his lunchbox. Like, how is this guy 7 years old and 70 at the same time? But that's when he decided he was finna power up. Bro turned into Geodude from Pokemon damn near. Anyways, Blackstar pulls up first, trying to gut this man like a fish, but he just eats the whole thing. So Blackstar decides to pop ult off spawn with his enchanted sword mode, running up with his shadows, then having Maka and Kid stacked behind him. But bro just yelled and blasted them off, then ran at Maka like this, like, what is this guy doing, bro? This is literally a One Piece villain, I'm tired of him. He then smacked Blackstar into a brick pillar, then turned into a ball, rolling into the air, and hit that double RKO. Soul then plays the evil piano, linking all their souls, buffing them. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, this was a bad jumping for Mosquito. Blackstar used his enchanted sword, pulling Mosquito close to him, then cut off both of his arms. Maki even pulled out a new move called Genie Hunter, cutting Mosquito in half. I'm not gonna lie, this man got cooked with 800 years of experience. He had to escape, bouncing off his nose at just a head like he's buggy or something. He somehow made it back to Arachne, revealing that Brew is broken. But truly, Medusa had spies inside the organization and swapped out the original Brew. She then goes to the DWMA and gives them Brew to negotiate. She also says Arachne is working with the Kishin. Turns out that Kishin just like me for real, okay? All he needs is a big goth mommy, alright? He real for that. But this is when the show starts getting a little confusing, so hold on here. Stein is now being completely trolled by Medusa, so Marie and Crona go off to handle her once and for all. Meanwhile, the rest of the DWMA is W King Arachne. But Marie and Crona end up getting whooped because Medusa has home court advantage. Crona was about to die until Maka showed up, and things were getting personal because nobody hates Medusa more than her. Hates her so much, she pulled up and destroyed her soul. Meanwhile, Black Star runs into Mifune for the third fade, and this time, he wasn't playing around. My boy pulled out the Super Saiyan Black Star, then runs upon Mifune for their final slash. And they hit that typical swordsman standoff until Mifune dropped. He literally got one-shotted by Black Star. Meanwhile, Lord Death used Brew to turn Death City into a robot mech. I don't know, bro. This is what happens when you go up from the manga. I don't know. He then destroys Arachne's base and swallows them completely. But that also brings the Kishin to Lord Death. So it's Kishin Ashura versus Lord Death, but this time he is a weapon. They set out by releasing their souls. And wait, what is Bro doing here? He thinks this is a UFC, like he just came for the cameo? Anyways, Ashura shoots a blast at Lord Death, but he just eats it using his hand. Bro got the Toon Force. And I know he did not just burp it out in front of him. He then pulls up on Ashura, and my boy hit the Matrix move, dodging all these hits. He finally cuts his man in half though, and it turns out he knows Genjutsu, appearing above Lord Death and going for the blast for blast with him. But Lord Death was low-key working him, hitting this man with a soul blast, then pulled it from behind with a down slam. I'm not gonna lie, Ashura was eating all these attacks, but he was getting cooked. He then goes for the soul resonance with Spirit, pulling out some crazy attack, but he missed it, I'm not gonna lie to you. So he just starts beating the dog shit out of Ashura. So this man got desperate and had to shoot a shot at Kid. So Lord Death had to go and take it for him. And this was the only way Bro could have ever beat Lord Death. Plot armor of doom. But anyways, Ashura then dips, pulling up on his girl, but decides to slime her instead so he can get even stronger. So then Kid, Maka, and Black Star decide they're going to handle him, and they was moving different. Black Star pulled up, swing at him, while Kid went and took his shots. Then Maka pulled up with Genie Hunter. Unfortunately, all their attacks weren't doing much though. They was out here taking turns on his new form, but Bro really is the final boss with all that HP. But that's when Soul's Devil finally snakes him, and at this point it was all downhill because Maka was out the game. It's like when Holly Burton hurt his leg in the final game, bro. It's getting bad. Black Star and Kid were getting blasted by the Kishin, and I mean he did Mega Evolve though, so Kid had to get up and use all his power into shooting this man. Bro had the Clash of Clans Golden Cannon. This destroyed the Kishin's Mega form, leaving his real body down to Black Star. Meanwhile, Maka was freeing Soul from the devil. When they came back, Black Star and Kid were slumped. The Kishin really got some hands. Maka tried to use Genie Hunter, but he just grabbed her out the air and threw her. So she got right back up, putting all her power into a new attack called Kishin Hunter. She got a direct hit on this man, and then he just said, nah, it's not gonna work on me, broski. Hit the drawing board. I mean, his powers is damn near just doing whatever he wants at this point. Someone please stop him. He then went to blast Maka off the earth, but Soul tanked the hit for her. So this man's soul is out for the count. But this right here is what made her lock in. Turns out, Maka was a weapon this whole time. Or she's both, I honestly don't know. She then told the Kishin she's Maka Alborn and she's scared of no smoke. This right here, Bro couldn't understand. I don't know, it's like typical anime stuff. What do you want me to say? This weakened the Kishin enough for her to run up and punch this man's face into submission. This defeated him, freeing the world from madness. And well, that's the end of Soul Eater, man. Let me know how y'all like it, you know what I'm saying? Me with the long upload. Stop texting me on Instagram, calling me a lazy bum, alright? I was working on this video.
I used to be into edging, but then I found out about Goonie. Yes! And I'm into black girls cause I'm not Goonie. Money